Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome. I am Pops. I am your host, and we're doing a bit of a different kind of show tonight. We are going to kind of go back a few weeks, if not months, and talk about Kenobi. Why on earth would we talk about Kenobi? Well, because now that it's over, we've had a few weeks, we've had a chance to digest it a little bit more. We've had a chance to see what all the love and the hate is, and who likes it, and why they like it, or why they hate it, those kinds of things. I think we've kind of gotten to a place where now we really can analyze it. And I've asked a guest to come on with me tonight, Matt, known as the A Common Idiot. Great channel, very like-minded with myself, so we share a lot of similar theories and principles, especially when it comes to the original Star Wars and that kind of thing. So he's running a little bit late, but I want to go ahead and just get started here with this and give you guys an idea what we're going to go for. And that is just looking at some of the things that people say about these shows that they like and kind of deconstructing those arguments, trying to break those down to allow you to kind of make a better judgment, kind of see it differently. And like I said, we have to think of this stuff as people will find this show 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years, 5 years from now, and we should let them know they're not crazy. We should let them know they're not crazy because, you know, they're going to be told it was good. There'll be new stuff that will piggyback off of it. The rewriting of history needs to be well documented and those kinds of things. So without further ado, let's just jump into it a little bit. So hail to the chat. Chris Persia here, the mod, the wrench, just a beast. So much help to me and all that we do here on the Pops channel, and I appreciate it so much. Leia Rose was in here early. Princess Leia Rose, hail to you. Hopefully you have a blessed day. Jacob Ironside hopping in. Hey, Jacob, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for coming by. So I don't know how you guys felt about Kenobi, and all I can do is kind of like go through some of the different things that people said about it and liked about it, so we can break those down a little bit. So let me give you an idea of some of the high level ones, and then we'll kind of dive in, and by then maybe it'll give Matt a little bit more time to join us. I think I'm going to double check Twitter while we're doing that, making sure you got the link. Okay. So the first thing is a lot of praise of the characters that it's like it didn't destroy canon. Like everything fits, right? So the Princess Leia, this little 10-year-old girl, and as I've stated many times, I'm not here to bash on a child actress. Similar to the Reva thing, I know people, and even Matt has been probably more hard on the Reva actress than I even have, because my sequence is like this. I blame the writer, then the director, then the performance. I think that a 10-year-old little girl portraying Leia, it's like, well, we just see the Leia on screen. We can just see Carrie Fisher. We can just see. I don't see that at all. So that'll be one of my major principles. And we'll go through some others. But without further ado, let's bring in Matt.
Hey.
How are you, my brother?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No, it's awesome. Thanks so much. And yeah, let's just talk Kenobi a little bit. I was kind of going over a little bit of the principles and ideas of kind of I ended up here, and I think you'd agree with me that we've had enough time for the love and the hate to kind of percolate to the top. We can kind of, and I really was just assessing. I think I've messaged you a couple of times about some of the things that people would say that they liked. And I know you agree with me. We're way on the other spectrum. Like, I don't see how you can say these things. So we'll go through some of those kinds of things and that kind of thing and stuff like that. But thank you so much for hanging out with us and doing that. Apollo's Minion popped in. So hey to you, lady. Thanks for joining us as well. So Matt, before I get too far into our love-hate dynamic here, you felt, well, I think I may have actually been in more pain than you. I'm a little bit older than you. So growing up with the OT Star Wars, I actually watched the first 2 episodes, and I actually said I was in pain. And I know that seems very hyperbolic to those that don't appreciate fandom, but I really felt like it's like something that I loved so much. It's almost like losing a pet. It was like losing something that I'm emotionally attached to. Not like I was crying or anything. It was just like, oh man, it was painful to sit through. I kind of got a feeling that maybe not quite that extreme for you, but some of that kind of came through in your first impressions with this show, if I read you right.
Yeah, and I mean, I went into it kind of expecting it, honestly. I
Mm.
mean, the Last Jedi was it for me. When I
Mhm.
watched that, that was how I was. That was pain, and since Disney's taken over, 90% of their stuff has been the same. Boba Fett, which is a character that I liked, I knew that was going to be a complete dumpster fire, but Obi-Wan is such an important character to Star Wars. I mean, such a Matt, you mean you know this is such an important
Mhm.
person to so many people. And when I saw what they were doing to him, just that the Luke Skywalker treatment, essentially, I was just like, here we go again. And it was just the Last Jedi all over. And
Yeah.
it was just painful to see just the amount of stupidity that they made this character. I mean, this graceful character that you love so much. I mean, even the prequels did such a good job just laying out what Obi-Wan really is, even as a young Jedi master at the time. And it's just horrible. Like it's just seeing that. Just a travesty. I mean, really is.
Well, Soul Assassin is bragging because he skipped Kenobi. Well, here's my rule, Soul Assassin. I'll watch it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
And if you think Kenobi is bad, Matt, by the way, I have the ultimate of bad for you tomorrow because I walked into one of those situations with my wife that I can't get myself out of, and I agreed to review a show called Not Okay. It's a new film from Hulu.
I heard about it.
It is the ultimate of cringe. And I assure you, it lives up to the cringe. That will be here tomorrow at this time. I will be breaking down Not Okay for you. We will go through, and you can just be amused at my pain and discomfort.
Isn't that the show with the trigger warning of the female like an unlikable female protagonist at the beginning?
I didn't notice a trigger warning. I'll have to play the beginning and see if there's a trigger warning. She
thought
is unbearably unlikable. So my thing is, I don't even know if this is like a docudrama or not. Like I think they're just telling on themselves is how bad this show gets. It's insane. So Joker Voice is here, and he says, yeah, Disney took a moment. My dad took me to see Star Wars for the first time. I lost my dad when I was 25 and was the happiest moment I remember him. Thanks, Disney. Yeah, it's rough, man. These memories, it's just rough. Soul Assassin, that's very nice of you, man. I'm not sure that's the word that I want to use when I think about what I've gotten myself into, but it is what it is. So, Matt, right out of the gate, the biggest heat I took because my video, I literally rushed to the camera before I had to go on my weekend hiatus to drive back to my phone, and it was WTF with my face in my hand, and I'm like, I have to get it out of me because I didn't want to carry it around for about 5 days. I took the most heat over the PTSD theory. Like, it's suddenly okay that 10 years later, this guy who's supposed to be protecting Luke, by the way, has no connection to the Force, buried his lightsaber and all of that. How can they justify that he's remotely relevant or useful if that's the case? Like, I still, to this day, I can't get the premise of the show right out of the gate. Like, I don't understand.
And I 100% agree with you. When I saw because I saw your video and the amount of hate in the comments that you were getting, and I was like, do these people really know what a lot of warriors or previous military or previous law enforcement, the ones who actually have PTSD, that's not all of them. I mean, I'm sure some are, but they don't all just break down and just quit. They're like, I'm done. Like, that's not the case. That's not the case. The best example of that is if you watched what's that new one with Chris Pratt, the list? Terminal List.
Terminal List, yeah.
Terminal List is a perfect example of a warrior, a current day warrior who is battling PTSD but is still capable of functioning and doing his mission. That's what Obi-Wan should have been. If they wanted to portray battling PTSD, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that he's completely broken. That doesn't mean he's lost everything. He's basically, I mean, look at it, that he quit. He was just a quitter.
And your video, I think, was better than mine in that regard because that was your big thing. It's like he basically tells another Jedi or tells another force-powered person, I quit, go bury your lightsaber in the desert. It's all over. We lost. And I'm like, in hindsight, it's even worse than I remember because you said, I'm gonna train Luke, or Luke has to be like, you're right. They created a contradiction right out of the gate. I was focusing more on how useless he is. You were focusing on the hypocrisy of the two principles. How the two don't go together.
No,
and so
It
Yeah,
makes
I don't. Yeah. Oh man, this is going to be a rough stream. It's going to be a rough stream for us both. I don't drink. I'll have some water. I'll try to stay hydrated. But this is literally the kind of thing that will drive me very, very close to my awful days. Soul Assassin. For those of you who don't understand, the show takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan lives as a nomad. He goes to like a meat market. He even steals meat for his weird creature that he rides around on, which is fine. I don't care about the creature, but it's like he steals meat, which I thought also, it's like the concept of the Jedi being these noble warriors and all of these principles that Lucas based on like the samurai culture and all of that are just completely gone. And he doesn't do anything. He's too busy about trying to spy on Luke and deliver a toy than he is to make sure he has a weapon that he might be able to have to. What if the Tusken Raiders just showed up?
Yeah.
What good is he?
I mean, it literally makes absolutely. There's so many contradictions in this show. We're just talking about Obi-Wan. Later on, we can get into what they did with Vader.
Oh yeah, it's going to be bad.
It's
going to be bad. We're literally on episode 1/2 because in 2 he has to struggle to use the Force to save Leia, who walks off the edge of a building. So it was like, oh, and he just drops her like 2 feet, and it was like he's so useless that he can't really move an object. He fights with a blaster. Those are the first 2 episodes. That's who our protagonist is. I can't get my head around that. Maybe it was biased to bring you on. I should find someone that actually likes the show. I never saw anyone really address or explain why all of that is okay. I just hear people say they liked it. They thought it was powerful and emotional, and it was like, and I'm like, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's emotional if he doesn't do us any good.
Exactly, because again, if this is his character, if he's so broken, run down, he's not using the Force and all that, his objective is to watch over the boy and make sure he's safe. How would he be able to do that? He can't. If you're a broken person, he can't use his Force powers. He doesn't have a lightsaber because that's a Disney thing now. They bury everything in the sand, and you don't have. I mean, did he even have a blaster? I don't know. Like I know he got.
Well, he had a blaster when he got on the carrier. I don't know
if that was
one up along the way, or he traded some of his stolen meat for one. I have no idea.
Idea. So I mean, like, what good was he going to do to Luke if, say, Inquisitors did show up and just start taking Luke or Vader? Like, you're done. You're useless. That's so.
Yeah. Joker says this is to legitimize the sequels. Leia has justification to call her son Ben. This is KK burning down the house on her way out. Yeah. I understand. And it's okay because season 2 will expose. Okay, we are not talking about that. That is not part of the show. I will leave that for others. Yeah, I don't even want to get into the nonsense. Ironcaster says, I think I only watched a single trailer. Suspected I would not be happy with. No, you do not. I watch it so you don't have to, my friend. And if you don't want to watch me, watch Matt. Matt actually has a more organized schedule of his videos and the structure. Mine was more like this emotional roller coaster, which really shouldn't surprise some of you that have watched any of my videos consistently. It's like I'd go like 2 episodes. I wouldn't do a video. Then I'd do one where I'm nearly in tears. Like I just can't handle this. People.
That's why I can't do a video right after. I have to like compress, just so like bad. Let it sink in and be like, is this real? Did this really happen?
Joker says he has a host of KENOBI shills. I watched some of the shills, and I actually have a very close friend. And so I literally have notes. Matt and I exchanged like half of my notes, but it was like all of these different things they say. But it's always like just an emotional response. The idea of anything making sense is completely irrelevant to them. Is that a fair assessment of yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's, if you think about it, that's literally the world today and the youth of today. Everything's about an emotional response. There's no thought process involved. There's no, wait a minute, how is this? It's what's instant. It's automatic. I call it that TikTok brain. It's like, that 20 second, like, boom, that makes sense. And that's good for me. There's no longevity and thought process of it. There's no, wait a second, this is going to contradict 2 movies later. Like, they don't care about it. It's what's now. And now, look, no one's even talking about it. Like, we're the only ones talking about it. Everyone else has kind of forgotten about it.
They've all moved on. Oh, I said, well, we're going to have to do it after the fact. And this all started too, because Joker voice as well. He's like, we could go on these rants about Shang-Chi and all these other products too. It's like, well, maybe at some point we will. I don't really know, and I don't know anyone that I've heard who's just so in love with some of those. So I have to do that research and subject myself to those. Kenobi, there was like a Venn diagram of that. Okay, so let's touch on Leia, because I did touch on it very briefly. The Leia love, and again, I'm not going to bash on a 10-year-old kid. I've long said that the writer is to blame, then the director, and then the acting. And that went for Reva as well. Like I said, I'm not going to pile on Reva. Matt can pile on Reva if he wants, but for me, it's like they just teleported some black lady out of Baltimore and told her she was an Inquisitor. She didn't even go to a makeup department like the other two did. She just kind of walked on set and had a bad attitude. I have no idea to this day how that's supposed to work. But Leia, it's like all you hear is, this is just my show voice, guys. I'm really sorry. I don't know. I have no premise of what this is based on. Oh my gosh, I watch her and I just see Carrie Fisher. I just see Leia. Oh my gosh, it just seems so real to me. It's like I'm watching her and it's like I see a little spoiled brat. I see a kid that doesn't listen to anybody. I think at episode 1, they kind of play up how sheltered she is, right? She's never really gone anywhere, right?
Never left the planet, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she's even left that area, like the palace. She's always with protection because of how important she is. So again, it makes, there's no life experience whatsoever, but yet she's telling people that, you know, the Empire's, how does she know the Empire's bad? All she knows is the senator works for the Empire. She's never seen anything because she's been on the planet. She's never left. So it doesn't make sense how they're making little Leia to be exactly like older Leia, because she hasn't gone through anything yet to experience that type of stuff for her to turn that way. But they don't, that's how Disney does anything. They don't want a female character to grow and have to go through any hardship or overcome anything. It's just, oh, you're automatically just the greatest, and that's that.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. Gap After Dark is here. So is Phil. Phil, TMNT. Hey there, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing well. She's quick on her feet, though, Matt. I mean,
that chase scene.
She dodges needles. She dodges needles. I wish I had clips, guys. We didn't really. This is my first time doing this kind of. So I didn't really have the proper intro. I didn't really have like some of the first, like, it just kind of like something we kind of threw together. But that scene, and I have to admit, I said it before Gary did, because once Gary says anything, it blows up, and he did the whole, you know, because he can call Perry Chan and they do the Benny Hill music. Because that's exactly how I felt when I watched this scene. I'm like, this was absolutely, I don't even know. I still to this day have not thought of anything worse than that and the hiding her in the trench coat scene.
Oh, God.
I can't think of anything, because even Muppet Man and things like that, the person was on top of the shoulders. So it's just like a tall, goofy gig. I've never seen one where someone's at the side and we're supposed to play it off like it's real. Like there's 4 feet and an extra. I don't get it. I don't understand.
They could have inserted laugh tracks and like cartoon noises like bonk, bing, and it would have fit. It would have absolutely fit the scene. And that just shows you how embarrassingly bad they've done. And what's crazy, like you said, it's not, I don't really blame actresses or actors. There's executives and higher ups that saw this and gave it the good to go. They're like, yep, this is good. Push it. Let's move on. And this is supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi we're talking about. Like, this isn't just a random, like Andor. Like, that I would see getting less love, but Obi-Wan,
so in the Star Wars universe, I'm just thinking to myself, not hide her in a droid, not hide her in a container, not figure out of something. No, we're just going to have her walk in the trench coat. I feel like they shot this thing. Here's my thesis. You guys in chat, give me a 1 if you think I'm right. Give me a 2 if you think I'm wrong. I don't think they thought about how to get her out from where they were as characters to that hangar bay, and they panicked because the writer didn't think about it, the director didn't think about it. They went to go shoot it, and then suddenly they realized they had this little girl and they forgot what to do with her, and there was nothing in the script that said what to do. And in a panic, they just said tuck her in the jacket. And at this point, I have no idea how much. If anyone knows how much Ewan McGregor got paid, I'd love to know. Because this dude, he either got a really, really fat check, or his divorce was way more painful than we all know. Because, you know, he cheated on his wife and had to go through that fiasco. Now I guess she follows him around with.
Oh.
Man,
Yeah,
just sneaking out a kid. It's good for the Disney brand right now. That seems like the way to go.
I was gonna say, yeah, with the whole kid thing, that's sneaking them and putting them under a grown man's adult jacket. It's probably not the smartest thing to do. But I 100% agree with you. I really think they got to that scene and then realized, oh crap, Leia was here. How do we get her out? And they couldn't think of anything or put something together. And they said, screw it, just give him an oversized trench coat for someone who's like a 5X, 5XL.
There's no characters that have one on like this, by the way.
No.
We don't see one in a previous scene. We don't see them, beat down some giant alien for one or anything like that. No. They just take it. So no, but we see Leia on screen, particularly whenever the rebels are trapped. This is episode 4 or 5, where they're trapped in the little base thing. All the stormtroopers are out front, or no, that's right. They're all being surrounded. Or
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have her crawl into a vent. It's like everyone's like, no, we're not listening to this freaking kid. Obi-Wan's like, you must listen to her. It's like,
yeah.
What the hell? What are you talking about?
How would she know to even work on that type of electronics? Like what?
Yeah.
They didn't even lead. Maybe like an earlier scene in the show, like very scene 1, see her twerking on thing or twerking. Jesus.
Oh boy.
Tweaking.
That is Disney Star Wars for sure now. Oh my God. We went on a Freudian slip journey for sure.
That's gonna be clipped. But
okay, Joker voice will clip that for us. That'll be good stuff right there.
Tweaking on like electronics to show that she has some type of capability of that, right? Like, but no, now she's just some kid who's gonna crawl into a crawl space and open. What was she doing? Closing the door, opening the door?
It was push a button, and there's like a bunch of wires. And it's like, just push the colored button, kid. It wasn't even like a complicated task, but the scene went on for. It was
like
cutting back and forth for like 20 minutes of screen time. We didn't. Again, the writer didn't know what to do with Leia. Maybe they wrote Leia in so late in the process that all of this came about as like, this sticker in here, the sticker, because she's basically the MacGuffin. She's just the thing we have to carry around. Somebody, maybe did you call her the baby? You call it babysitting? Or someone else called it babysitting.
A couple people did, yeah.
Yeah, it's babysitting. It's like Boba Fett it's like Mandalorian with Baby Yoda. It's like just babysitting detail. Yeah.
Yeah. Every episode or every Star Wars show, I feel like now there has to be some type of kid being babysat. And I don't know why. I mean, Book of Boba Fett didn't have that, but still, it's.
Well, he was babysitting his helmet because he just carried it around everywhere. They pulled a Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You know what, Jacob? That is probably the best assessment of how bad that scene is. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's how comical it was, at least for me. So, and Austin Powers did a better job of hiding a kid better than Mini Me and Kenobi. Very, very true. Decepticons Cave. Hey, how you doing? No, I did not watch it. I don't need to know how they roll now. Weak and treat the real hero like they're dumb and need saving. No, thank you. Well, we're going to watch it so you don't have to. And you can kind of get a feel for. And here's the thing. What we're trying to accomplish here is at least trying to make you think through all these positive things that people keep saying. So at least in the back of your mind, you'd be like, yeah. So, and by the way, the twerking thing prompted Crisco. Please don't give them any more ideas. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they have that idea already.
We're going to get to Wade, Soul Assassin. Matt, I don't have a shirt yet. I cannot find someone. Chris Persia, please. I need Star Wars lettering, preferably with like the gray rebel outline in the background. The red, it just says R.I.P. Wade. Why is it so freaking hard to get someone to help? I reached out to my normal guy and I never heard back. Reached out to another person and they're like, I don't know. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm like, never mind. Now it doesn't look the way I want to.
I think those would sell for sure.
Well, I don't even know. Someone's probably already made them, but I want one. I want one just for myself, if nothing else. And you guys can decide if you want to buy one. But I want an RIP Wade. We'll get to Wade. So we went through Leia. Let's see here. Let's go through some notes. Leia's so good. She's so good. We got to come back. We got to save Vader because that's just too much. Okay, here was a weird one for me. People would praise certain episodes as being great in world building. And I thought to myself, world building? We don't know anything about these planets any more now than when we first started this series. I don't know. I mean, I know there's one that's called Daiyu, I think is what the Blade Runner planet's called. No.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Daiyu?
Yeah, that was episode 2, right?
I think so.
Where Reva at the end was screaming, "I'll get you."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she can leap off buildings like the Matrix, but when the ship is pulling away, she just waves her lightsaber. Oh, it's like,
Well,
don't jump on that ship. Don't use any force powers. Don't do anything.
you would think that, and that's an Imperial controlled planet, obviously, right? So wouldn't they know where that transport's going?
Of course they do. They had there was references to the log or something, right?
Yeah.
Earlier in the episode. Like, it's not like it's a transport, mysterious transport. It's like, I mean, literally, like, New Hope has the, they're in like the ship number 9. Like, this is where they're in. There's no flip open her equivalent Star Wars communicator to say, yeah, they're on transit, whatever. No, it's just like waves her lightsaber and rees to the heaven.
Yeah, and then the next episode, it's like, oh, we're sending out the droids to try to find him. It's like, well, you should have known where that was going, or radio him and say, hey, turn around.
Or I don't know. The Empire. The whole premise of the Empires was all these Star Destroyers and TIE fighters and Imperial ships freaking everywhere. But we don't use. Okay, we'll get to those because it just keeps getting worse. So world building. If you mention the names of the other planets, I'll recognize the names. Like, I could pick them out of a multiple choice test, but there's no way that I could tell you off the top of my head what any of them was. One, just you accurately called the one the Grand Canyon planet.
Yeah, the one where they landed from that transport. It literally looked like the Grand Canyon area. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing.
The series ends on the not Mustafar, like the not Mustafar planet. Like, it's like Mustafar 2. It's like the
other side of Mustafar. It's well, and that's the thing. It's world building because that one planet, the second episode planet, had a bunch of, like you said, Blade Runner. So it had a bunch of neon lights and looked cool. Looked like an average Twitch streamer's wall. So it's
cyberpunk.
Like,
so it's like, cyberpunk cool. Had a rape going on in a Blade Runner film, and that's what we got. We got the alleyway. Freaking, I guess it was called Daiyu. I could have them mixed up, guys. But you'll hear people talking about world building. Okay, let's Chris Purchase on it. No hashtag no twerking on Star Wars. Yeah, it's probably not going to escape us now, Matt. It's probably going to be. Yeah, that's good.
It's here forever.
And we went from a Disney Star Wars to a Beyonce musical. Oh yeah. At least it wasn't a WAP reference. Thank goodness.
Oh God.
Those Kenobi shills, you might know who I'm thinking of. Kept getting upset when I kept referring to the bait and switch that was Kenobi. Bait and switch is even being kind, because I'm not ever sure that there was any like actual bait. Yeah. We kind of have to think it could be about the main character. They wasted no time with it not having anything to do with him. He's literally like the cab driver in a movie, like driving other characters around to different things that are going to happen. So there's a really popular comedy, like a Christian film that we love, called Mom's Night Out. So the moms are out and there's all this. Well, the cab driver becomes a character because he just, at some point, he's just working off the clock and he's just driving them around from, the bowling alley to the bar to this to that. I kind of feel like Kenobi's just there to like, we're going to go to this planet for a while. We're going to go over here for a while. He doesn't really do most things.
No. And all that happened was Leia got kidnapped, then he saved her, then she got basically kidnapped again, then went to save her, and it's just I don't know. The more you think about it, it really just baffles your mind of how much of a mess this show was and how just there was no thought process in it whatsoever.
Okay. Oh yeah, you're right. I have the planets. So I call it the Hong Kong Alley planet.
That's perfect.
That's Daiyu. The Fortress Without Shields, the Inquisitorium. I kid you not, that was their official name for this.
Oh, Waterworld? Yeah.
Waterworld. Generic Rebel Planet, which was your Grand Canyon planet, was called Jabim. Mapuzo, which is where they hitch a ride on a different cargo ship. I wish we could make this crap up, guys. I really do. It's like they're just, I don't know. I mean, yeah.
The whole show just feels like they said F it and slapped a bunch of stuff together. And
I feel like they were, I don't know. So here's the thing, is where I don't get this is it's almost like they're just too smart for their own good, right? So this is South Park principle, right? These people just they have their heads up their behinds, they're smelling their own farts. I literally truly believe that. We're in an alternate universe in the multiverse where Doc Brown explained it's broken. We can't, so someone could figure out where the freaking almanac came from. We're not going to be able to fix this mess. All right. Now that they think these things are clever or cool, when reality was Lucas was like, snow planet, call it And he came up with the name Hoth. Okay, sounds good, George. Like snow planet. Okay, desert planet, snow planet. Because he even said, and I think George is famous for saying, like, well, it was beige for sand, and then it was this. So we wanted greens for Endor. We wanted the red Vespa oranges. So it was real complicated, Matt. It
Yeah.
was a lot of
Oh,
thought process.
so much. So much complexity there.
Yeah, we couldn't think, well, we had water, we had no, we just I don't know, man. World building. I want you to understand that if you have people shilling for this, how absurd their takes really are. Maybe that's the best way to explain Matt and I's perspective on this freaking show. We
Well,
barely
and
scratched the surface.
oh yeah, we barely scratched it. And one thing that I did not understand, and this is not a specific dig at the character or anything, but this is just a legit criticism, is how people have said how much they loved the Riva character and how much they built her. And again, it has nothing to do with the actress. I don't fault her for all. You could have thrown anybody in the Riva shoes and it would have been still what it is. But that was like the whole premise of her character and the reason why she did everything and how it all fell through and came, like, it makes zero sense. Like the big twist, right? Because I mean, we're talking spoilers here, so the big twist of how she was really after Vader all along. Like, you didn't even need Obi-Wan
No,
for any of this.
I
This
don't
has
even know.
nothing to do with it.
They didn't have that original ending. They made it up as so. Okay, let's just for those of you that have not seen it, because some of you have confessed that you have
Yeah.
not seen it. So let's start at how we first meet Riva. They show up at a little cantina that is completely void of aliens. Matt
Yeah.
will correct me when I'm wrong. Um, the Inquisitor, the Grand Inquisitor, is there. They have the no-name Inquisitors, and then they have Riva, and she looks different because she looks like she's from Baltimore, and they do not. They look like Inquisitors that you've seen in Rebels, and they're like intimidating and intense. And I thought, wow, they made this Grand Inquisitor guy. This is getting pretty good. And then suddenly, she uses the Force and throws a knife, and she acts all irrational. And the Jedi that runs, he knocks the front of the tent down, and they don't follow.
And he stopped the knife. He saved that person.
He stops the
from getting
knife. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. But that was it. She threw it. So she's impulsive. She doesn't look like them. She doesn't act like them. And her plan is, okay, there's been a mixed messaging on this because I have missed it. Did they say that she learned from the archives the connection between Bail Organa and Kenobi? Is that how they? Because I've heard the fan theory, but is that in our heads or did they actually say it? Because I don't remember it.
I think she said that she looked, if I recall, she looked in the archives and that's how she was able to connect the dots. But if that's the case, why would Vader not have done that? Like,
correct. And once we've kidnapped Leia to draw Kenobi out, with no instructions, by the way, we just take the kid. There's no, because this would have been one of the plot points that was the easiest one to write, was to say, we have the kid and we want Kenobi to deliver the ransom or whatever the case may be, right? Because it would be an easy thing to say that's what, because Bail Organa could have easily sent an army, or he could have just gone to the Senate, or he could have done whatever. The moment that this is all revealed and actually works and Kenobi responds, if this didn't work, you just kidnap Bail Organa's wife or him or something, because there's a connection there somewhere. It's like, I don't know. The Riva line never.
Well, and that would have affected the whole future of Star Wars, because now forever they know that he has a connection to Jedi. So why would they not investigate that further down the road? Because the Grand Inquisitor, spoiler, lived, so he knew. So why didn't he have not told Vader?
Yeah, it's all out, and it's all out once we know. Like even if we just pretend through episode 4 that we don't know, once we get near the end and they kidnap Leia again in episode 3, you're like, well, we kind of know now.
Yeah.
If we didn't know before, the cat's out now.
Yeah.
Ben, formerly known as Obi-Wan, you're connected to this Organa family, so we kind of know where you're going to end up with this kid. You're going to take her back to her planet, so we'll just wait out there. Why chase him around? Like, there's just so many plot holes. Anyway, so Riva's story is that it's all like a triple secret agent plan of faking kidnappings to lure Vader for some reason, because she's going to take him down. Like,
because she was a Padawan that got it. Well, he tried to kill during Order 66, which that he didn't succeed. She got stabbed or whatever, and she lived. So she decided to be evil. And that's
Well, it's all a plan. So she's gonna just kind of go along, and then when the time is right, she'll rise up and strike Vader down, and Vader strikes her down, but she lives again. She survives 2 lightsaber strikes from Anakin. He's so incompetent at killing people, he can't kill Reva. She's basically kryptonite. For those of you at home, Reva is kryptonite to Vader. He's tried twice.
Lightsabers mean nothing anymore in Star Wars.
Grand Inquisitor lives through his strike. And literally, guys, the Grand Inquisitor takes it like through the belt. Like the saber comes out the other side, kind of thing. Like there's no ambiguity of I don't care how many. Is it in the Rebels? Because I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on Rebels at all. That he has 2 or 3 body parts that he can. Yeah.
So my understanding is in Rebels they show or they explain that he has 2 stomachs. So, but for your average viewer, who you could assume there's got to be some type of like normies out there that don't watch anything animated. They don't even explain in this show how he lived. He just shows up again.
Yeah, he's just in a scene and he just says a few words and we just keep moving like all of this is supposed to be. This was one of my biggest complaints and I kind of checked out of some of the Clone Wars and animated stuff when they brought Darth Maul back. And I was kind of like, oh, really? Why? Why didn't you just have an angry brother? Like I don't. And later, I guess there is an angry brother. But my point is just like, I'm like, why did we need? Yeah.
Because it's easier to do that than create new.
Yeah. And then Reva, she survives the Vader strike down. And she decides that she'll go to Tatooine because Obi-Wan, of course, dropped the communicator that all the instructions were on. It's because he's very competent. And she shows up to kill Luke and then just doesn't. Just has a crisis of conscience and then just doesn't kill Luke. And then Obi-Wan doesn't kill her. So season 2 is Reva's out there, I guess. I'm actually shocked there's not a Reva show that's been announced. Like it would seem like we set up Obi-Wan season 2 and a Reva show.
Do you really think there's going to be a season 2 of Obi-Wan?
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't really think I think they said that, but I don't think there actually will be. I think maybe they'll give Reva a spin-off or she'll show up maybe in Ahsoka show or something down the road because she's young enough to be older now.
Yeah.
I don't know. God.
I think they're making all of it up as they go along, to be honest.
Oh yeah. I think they're rolling dice with things, just random dice say, all right, we'll do this.
He might live with his lightsaber. Yep, he sure does. He's got a 3rd liver. Okay. So yes. Okay. So we didn't get into this. Jacob Ironside is a great one. This is so absurd. They find this wall with other Jedi's names, and it's like they're literally like Jedi's names on the wall. And I'm like, safe house that says I was here. Because so imagine if the Empire found this and they were like, wait, sir, do we have record of the deaths of? Oh wait, there's 3 of them on here. We don't have records of their deaths, so they're still. I mean, it's so.
Why? Here's what I don't understand about like Disney Star Wars. They're making it that it seems like there's so many people with force powers about, right? Like it seems more common than not. When the Rebel Alliance was going on during the original movies, why wouldn't more of them come forward and join? Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like that. Like why was there only one? Why was it only Luke? That's it. Everyone die before then? If that's the case, like I don't know.
We have a whole lot of Force users to kill off in this galaxy. That's all I know. Because there's a whole lot of things that are out there that we keep creating so many contradictions. And this is the thing about like it's almost like teaching your kid not to lie. It's like when you lie, then you got to tell another lie and tell another. You're stacking them. Mm-hmm. I feel that's kind of what they've done. They're stacking They're stacking things that are not canon on top of each other so much that there's no way for them to write anything that will make sense even with their own. We see this with the Marvel side. So if any of these heard my rant about Marvel, it's like you have shows that contradict themselves in the same show. And then when they immediately do the next movie, it contradicts everything in that movie and show. It's like, because you can't, there's no Bible, right? The principle, most writers have like a writing Bible or something like that. So Solo Sessam's talking about Fallen Order game. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with that game at all?
I've seen it, but I've not played it. No.
Yeah, it says sneaking into an Inquisitor base underwater, a female Inquisitor that the game did better. Yeah, there was a female Inquisitor in the show, and there's a male Inquisitor. They have cringy dialogue at times, and their performances are like, But I got to be honest, all of that was just it was fine background for me. At least they were Star Wars feeling. It's like they were fine. A crappy performance out of a Greedo character wasn't going to derail a show for me. Having to watch a fake Inquisitor run around with a plot that makes no sense whatsoever was a problem for me.
Yeah.
So.
and steal a lot of the light.
It's great. Oh my god, that planet is Mustafar adjacent. We need to get that shirt. That's another shirt. We need like some sort of symbols with the lava on Kenobi. Oh, I have to have some sort of I went to this Mustafar adjacent planet and all I got was his shirt from Kenobi or something.
And I got hit with a rock.
something. Quinlan Voss was the Jedi, if you say so. Yeah. Adjacent Inquisitors. Okay. They have the money. It's like a laundry. That is Soul Assassin. That is one of my principles with all of this because I am not seeing $200 million films on screen. I'm not seeing I don't know if you guys know how much Obi-Wan cost, but when you start seeing these things and you're like, I don't see that much money on screen. So I don't know who got some fat checks along the way because you start doing the math on the cast and stuff like that. There's some money missing. So, okay. Wait, I think I am talking about. You were in the chat, and I was going to depend. Yes, yeah. Okay, I know. There's lots of shills, though. There's lots of shills. All right, none of this makes all sense at all. No one in the Imperial ranks knows Vader's Anakin. Oh yeah, yes. Evidently, she kept it a secret. That's the only way it makes any sense at all. Yeah, Palpatine, Tarkin, and Thrawn. Yeah, Gwen Inquisitor looks like Megamind. Or Terry Bradshaw.
It's not wrong.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Soul Assassin. I'm going to need a minute to come down from that image because I have, again, t-shirts. Like you picked the 3. And they're all there with Terry Bradshaw in the middle. Oh my gosh. That's almost as perfect as like Ryan Kinnell forehead jokes. That's right there with it. I'll be honest. Terry Bradshaw is the Inquisitor or Megamind. Okay. Reva found a connection showing a link between Kenobi and Bail. Sure. And which Anakin would know about a connection with Organa? They show that in Clone Wars. Okay. She was a youngling. Yeah, she's a youngling in the opening scene for anyone who has like no brain at all to be spoon-fed later on. Let's see. They're saying they're Joker's defending Darth Maul. Okay, fair enough, but it could just been Darth Maul's cousin or something. The Diary of the Mad Inquisitor. Yes. All right. Castle's here. Leia Rose is here. Lovely Sherry. Hey, y'all. Oh, Leia Rose says she's a show. All right. Well, I want to know why you like it. So you're going to have to just tell us what's wrong. So Leia Palpatine Skywalker lives forever. That's just evil stuff right there. God. Leia Rose. So it really has been fascinating because we talked about kind of deaths don't matter. You actually had kind words for the Clone Wars flashbacks. It was episode 4 or 5 or so where Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting, and they do that. Like I thought it was pretty crappy de-aging on. Hayden Christensen's face. My take on it was it doesn't matter. Like it didn't. There was no real life lesson. There was no real tie-in to the plot or the story. It's just something that happened. And
yeah, it was, in my opinion, it was nice to see, but it was like too little too late at that point. Like they've done too much damage. Like if you started instead of having that opening scene be Reva, right? Because that's literally the opening episode of episode 1. You're seeing the flashback of Reva as a kid, which makes no sense for an Obi-Wan show, but whatever. But if you started that show with that flashback, I think that would have been, even though it wasn't like you said, there really was no lesson. It was more of a member berry kind of thing thrown in there, and just showing that. I think at least that would have been a better start. At least getting like, you're already building excitement for what's potentially. I mean, I think it would have been a bigger letdown, but at least it was some type of nod to the past that people wanted. That was the people that they wanted more of that flashback stuff, and just kind of see just more stuff from the past that we weren't able to see. Maybe more fights like that or training lessons or whatever the case may be. But I didn't think it was the worst thing in the world, but it wasn't obviously. The de-aging was terrible.
Yeah, de-aging was bad. So if we had to fix it, I think you'd agree with me because episode 2 ends with the Vader eyes popping open with the Anakin's name, those Kenobi thing or whatever. I think we started doing the flashback on episode 3, and they're Vader's memories. It's supposed to be Vader remembering some good times and bad times and conflict. It's basically like we're trying to build more of why he's still obsessed with getting revenge. Like, you know what I mean? There's got to be some reason for these flashbacks, and then it at least could have worked. But no, the normies and these shills just freaking love the flashbacks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even with like during Book of Boba Fett, the member berries that they would throw in there, I was like, that doesn't. Yeah, that's great that you saw, Jango Fett fly away in his ship, but this show was absolute garbage. Like, yeah, that's cool, but it doesn't matter if you put literal sprinkles on a turd. It's still a turd. It's still a turd. Doesn't change the fact that it might look a little prettier, but.
Well, that takes us to the worst one of all was Hello There.
Yeah. Oh God.
The obsession with Hello There, and I got to be honest, I didn't even care like a tittle. I didn't even care it was just so irrelevant to me. And actually, it kind of made me a little angry that they would meet at all, because it was almost like it takes away from the mystery of Ben, the mysterious old guy that lives out past the dunes in New Hope. But like, it just takes away from that as a kid, because the kid's too freaking old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A 9 or 10-year-old's going to remember some of this stuff.
And, sometimes we don't have to see everything. It's okay to just kind of leave it a little bit unspoken and just we can all determine ourselves how that happened, or not. It doesn't even matter, because we know at some point Luke knows about Obi-Wan. He knows about him or Ben. So we don't have to exactly see that first introduction, but you knew they were going to do that, because that's what the seals slapping their paws together wanted to see. So
Leia Rose is saying, listen, no reason. I'm just one, and I'm proud of it. She's trying to play the old G card on me. Is that what you're trying to do? I've been over this, Leia Rose. You can ask Mags. We went through a detailed chronicle history of me, this old man, seeing this thing in theaters 6 times between the ages of 6, 7, and 8. Saw the original in theaters. So, okay. Didn't know what shade of gray you wanted, so I went with medium dark. Okay. Not sure what we're going with here. Does he send me a DM? Okay. He sure did. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to get this to open while we go, and he's that fast. The internet is a scary place sometimes for us. I don't know if Matt, do you run into this much, where people will do a meme or something and just like this stuff just can happen like so fast?
Not personally to me, but I do watch the memes come by real time, like during FNT and all that, where they just
it's a good start, Chris. It's a good start. It's not really where I want to go with it, but I understand what you were going for, and I appreciate that. You sent me a large file, so this might take a second here for me to figure out how to deal with this. The premise of the letter is great. Okay, so I'll let Matt explain R.I.P. Wade while I try to figure out how to open this, because we have this emotional moment. It's a very, very, very powerful emotional time. Am I right, Matt, about Wade? Because Wade doesn't make it out. Doesn't make it out.
Well, yeah. I mean, Wade was obviously such a pivotal character for the show, and his death meant so much to so many that the emotional feelings that it gave you, it was just overwhelming. It's just
can't even do it with a straight face, my friend. We can't.
Not even that. You know what annoys me more about the whole way, that whole scene, is just the way they made the snow speeders. They just changed those completely. The mom caravan version that fits 12 now. How they were able to fit
there's plenty of room for Obi-Wan in his giant coat. You sit on my lap, Leia. There's plenty of room back here. Back with a big fellow. I'm just saying.
Like, we've never seen Empire Strikes Back, and how Luke could barely fit in there by himself, let alone we're fitting 3 people, 2 adults and 1 child into the back seat of one of these.
So this is when we're escaping from the Inquisitorium, the planet that doesn't have ships because no one would dare attack it. And Obi-Wan has got Leia in his coat, and they make it to the hangar. They're going to make their big getaway. Snow speeders show up at the last second. We're told in their mythology that they transport trash with those now. So basically, the snow speeders have been retrofitted to just be garbage movers too, which
garbage trucks.
I couldn't believe that as well. So, but that's a thing. So, during that process,
I didn't know they hovered
yeah,
like
they just kind of
Apache
float in
helicopters
there, right?
either.
They just kind of do this, just kind of angle in. They don't come in and shoot. They just like this, right? And everybody gets their
They came
getaway.
in full speed and they just stop, and then he's just sitting there hovering like a.
Yeah.
Uh,
And for those of you that didn't understand, Wade, he's a very he has one line during the rebel planning phase of attacking the Inquisitorium, and that was it. And but when his so when they start to pull away, they're hovering, so they got to pull away. Reva, because she's mad, she's not accomplishing anything. By the way, she uses her force to grab. I love this. Dave Bob said, used a bunch of scraps and hurls this little box at him and takes out Wade.
A cardboard box.
It's just a box, and you're like, okay, okay.
Well, you knew Rose Tico's cousin that was piloting and picked up. They weren't going to kill her off because you can't be able to. Yeah,
we need her.
So Wade had to go.
All right, Wade didn't make it out, and we're harping on this for those of you who haven't seen the show because there's literally like 5 minutes of screen time spent on Wade, and none of us even knew what Wade's name was.
No.
So
until he got back.
Yeah, so they're all just standing around. They're all mourning. And they're sad because they lost Wade. All right. So here's what I want. I think the text is good. I think the text should be yellow. When I said gray, I was thinking of like a little rebel symbol behind it. Even though, see, here's the problem, Chris. You obviously didn't watch the show because Wade wasn't that cool. That dude right there on the right is way freaking cooler than Wade. Wade is a nondescript rebel dude at a table. Like there's no. I couldn't even tell you what the actor looks like.
Generic white guy one. And that's basically who Wade is.
But he was given a name Wade. It literally was so much for me, Matt. Like if the credit said Rebel Guy 4 and then we got an action figure and it said Wade on it, I'd be like, oh, they gave this dude a name. I'd be like, okay. Because that's how it was when I was a kid. Like all these action figures and stuff would have names and character information that I didn't know before.
Yeah. No. And you just read, oh, okay, I know all about this guy now because they made it up.
Yeah. But we love this show. It's a lot of world building. It's a lot of world building. So let's see here. I guess we can't waste too much time without having to circle around to the stupidity of Darth Vader, because it really is truly remarkable. Hold on one second. Pops, he lost his true love, Padme. Anakin, I think, was a stalker. Anakin is a little creepy at times, let's be honest. Okay, the series has bad. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Trying to make sure. Leia's 13. Okay, you're a little bit older than me, Leia. Okay, fair enough. Dean Krantz, hail. Let's see. Made Anakin into the meme of that old guy hanging out at school. Yep. Anakin was the type he wanted. Yeah. Lots of hellos. So, I heard those were the same snow speeders from Empire. Yeah. Well, they don't.
They were supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they will be, or whatever. I don't know. Because the Empire hasn't happened. Yeah, we'll see. They're still around. One didn't make it. Each time I listen to people talking about Disney's horrible storytelling of Star Wars, I am so happy I didn't watch. We're doing it for you there, Dean. Let's see. Taking a moment. Let's see. All right. Henchman number 3 suddenly bursts into flames to cast mourns the loss of a beloved comrade. Yes, named Wade. That literally is Wade's backstory. Very good. We've almost written the text on the action figure. Because. So let me ask you a question, Matt. I don't know if you're married or not. You got family members that are like, why are you putting yourself through this, Matt? You got family members?
Yeah, I got it. My brother, because me and my brother grew up loving this stuff, and he's like, "Why do you do this? Like, why do you care anymore?" And it's like, because he lost all that, he just doesn't care. But I do. I like this stuff. Like, I love Star Wars, and Yeah, it just now I just like I said, the Last Jedi is what broke me of the actual caring. Like because I walked out of that theater and I did not watch the last Disney sequel movie. What was it called? The Rise of Skywalker, where she's
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
actual. Yeah, I didn't watch that. I'll never watch. Maybe I'll live stream watching it one day to react. Because I refuse. I didn't see Solo because I heard that was an absolute dumpster fire. And what they did with the Millennium Falcon, like I was like, no. But now I just have to laugh at it. I literally just go in, and if it's good, I'll give credit because I thought Rogue One was decent. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but
It was fine.
it
It's a
was,
little dull.
yeah. Yeah. But now like, I'll just mock this into the ground. If it's good, I'll give them props. But if it's trash, which most of it is, I'll just laugh at it because it's better than crying. Like I just can't get mad at it, Like it's so yeah.
Yeah, I Lyra says I watched it 4 times, Rise of Skywalker 4 times. You're really sadistic.
oof,
I got to be honest, Lyra.
someone's in
So,
pain, apparently.
yeah, uh, I got a screener for Last Jedi, and I came out feeling kind of shocked. Like my review was probably pretty positive, especially by today's standards. And I just didn't even know what was happening. And I think I was blinded. My theory at the time was this is $1 billion franchise. I know they have a plan, right? I literally was just like, okay, they're going to explain. They're going to. So, I mean, I was like, but the more I kept thinking about any single piece, the thread just kept coming undone.
Yep.
And my son was like you. He completely checked out. And we used to have these fan fiction conversations about how we were going to fix it, how Rise of Skywalker wasn't called that yet. But we were like, all right, here's how we're going to write the story. Here's how it's going to go. And none of those things happened, by the way. There's no effort to make any of this make sense. It just kept getting worse. Kenobi is almost like it's being made by like the jaded girlfriend that's found a way to get back at you. Like they found out that you're engaged and you're going to be happy. So they're going to find this way to do something. And it's just, it's mean and it's cruel. It's abusive. And it's like, oh my gosh, what on earth are these people doing? So,
I think this was the Last Jedi for the prequel babies. Like this was the awakening for them to realize how like bad things are, because I know a lot of like X-Wing, he loves the prequels. I'm sure you know that YouTuber. I've heard of him.
Oh yeah. We can't get our schedules lined up to get him on, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love that. He's such a good dude. But that was like, he loves the prequels, and seeing like just how upset he was because they destroyed that Obi-Wan, his character. It's really like, I felt for them because I already knew this was coming, right? I just expected the worst. And if it came out great, awesome. Because I really would love to see good Star Wars content. I really do. I don't want to hate on it just to hate it. But I know Disney's not capable because they don't. I've said it multiple times. These corporations, no matter what the franchise is or the IP is, they don't know how to love things. They don't care. And it's very clear off of what they do. So knowing that, you just go into it realizing like it's going to be garbage.
Yeah, there's not enough mature adults that want to take on responsibility of something this big. Like, you would have to have you'd have to have Jon Favreau actually have the ability to go, we trust him and he's in charge. Like we work through him. It's his thing, right? So
he's got to control it all, kind of like how George did.
Joker voice is like you. It's like, I just have low expectations. So there you go. That's kind of how he is. He approaches it that way. And then weeks afterwards, all I could do was troll my friends and still thought Star Wars was good. Dean, I was not out after Force Awakens. I had a lot of problems and it didn't hold up as well. Like everything just kept doing this for me, like the multiple times or whatever. It's like, I have this issue now, I have this issue now, this issue now. But the euphoria of it all definitely got the best of me in the beginning. I wish I could tell you I was more of an honest broker with it, but I wasn't. Solo Assassin, my feeling on Solo was it wasn't even a Star Wars movie. I came out of Solo going, well, that's a fun science fiction movie, kind of like Flash Gordon. It's just not Star Wars at all. That was literally my response to Solo. If it was just a generic sci-fi movie, I'm like, it's all right.
Once I heard about the droid wanting droid rights or something like that, I was like, nope, I am not going to see this.
It's really strange. So the jaded girlfriend analogy is based on KK. That's so funny. Hey, Rosie. How you doing? So Assassin's a prequel baby. Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, okay, let's deal with this whole Vader storyline because Vader. So Vader is in an episode 1. He's in a back to tank. Well, okay, I don't even know if his machine called a back to tank. Is that what he technically is in, or his something special? I always thought his was different.
I thought his was different because that's where he was like primarily in all
Basically,
the time. But I guess it
kept alive. Like if he's not
Yeah.
in this thing, he's not. He's going to deteriorate very, very quickly and perish. Is what I always thought.
he's not laying in bed in his suit. Like he's in that tank if he's not in the suit. Like
Right.
there's one or the other. Yeah.
Anyway, so we have close-ups of him with his eyes popping out, and because he's basically, I guess we're supposed to presume there's a sense of the force of Kenobi and the realizations at the end of the movie and those kinds of things. Fair enough.
And I think they stole that scene. I don't know. Have you ever seen Star Wars Theories fan film that he did with Vader?
I don't think so. No.
I would go check that out. He did a little Vader. He's doing like episodes or scenes or whatever. That was oh God, that's got to be at least 3 years ago now, 2 years ago.
Wow,
that
okay.
scene's in there. Like they took that scene from that fan film. Like
I can
shot
see that.
for shot.
They'd be so. They would think they're just so smart. I got this idea, Matt. You're not going to believe this idea. Yes. So the reason I talk that way, for some of you that are new to me, is there's a great interview with a famous writer named David Mamet. He's more like a playwright than he is anything else, but he's done film as well. And he talks about why he's so based is because I'm just sick of being locked up in a room with a whole bunch of 12 Jasons. And I'm like, yeah, because they all just talk like that. They're just like these. They know they got their little glasses on. They got the cappuccinos, whatever. And they work with the scissoring hens. The scissoring hens is Loki's word that, it's the scissoring hens. Like we need this and we need the alphabet. And yes. So the scissoring hens and Jasons are the ones that are writing all this crap, by the way. So we're clear.
Checking the boxes.
We get to episode, I think it's 3, right? When he goes to the planet, just starts choking people out on the street. And that's when Kenobi just runs away.
Dude,
ups and freaking runs away. Matt literally can't. I don't know why it's not on camera. Matt's trying to explain his reaction, and he did what he just did now. He just starts laughing. So if you're not subscribed to A Common Idiot, you need to be. Go to the description, get subbed, go to the playlist. By the way, they're out of order. You got to move 5 above 6, so they're in order. So he's going to fix that for us so we don't have the OCD like I do, where I click the wrong one. I'm like, something's wrong. But he did that. It's like Obi-Wan's there, and there's like Vader's just killing innocent people, and Obi-Wan's just like run away as though, well, he'll follow me. I'm like,
and then too, when they finally come face to face, and Obi-Wan just takes off running.
Right. So he comes around a thing. He ignites the lightsaber for the first time. So he's in the blue light, and then Vader's right there, and then Obi-Wan just goes whoop.
I sent that video to my brother, and he was crying, laughing. He's like, dude, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was so like that right there. I mean, the show was bad before, but I knew like they completely murdered Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It only got worse. It only got worse because they had a fight scene. Vader's kicking his butt because he's like, he has no force powers.
Some construction site that looked nothing like Star Wars. It looked like some people did in their backyard.
There were mounds of sand and rock and quarry there. That's the most Star Wars looking quarry in the history of quarries. All you were missing
was like a caterpillar bulldozer, and
dude in a yellow hat, just walking, a stormtrooper with like a yellow
with
helmet.
A vest and blueprints in his hands.
Where is like the Flintstone meme of like that? Because that's so true. It's like a quarry scene, and the stormtroopers aren't actually shooting. Maybe we should go help Vader. Yeah, we got this crane to move. We better just stay on project. He gets mad if we rock the boat. So they fight. Vader wins easily, and I think he uses the Force to help start the fire.
Yes.
But then after he wins, he refuses to cross the fire to chase Obi-Wan, and this scene. If they didn't copyright flag nearly everything, I would just play some of these segments for you guys. They're just like, they're authoritarian nut jobs when it comes to someone speaking negatively. So here's what they do. And Matt, you can attest if you've tried to do it. Paramount's the one I have. I only have one outstanding copyright claim, literally from Halo. For those of you who remember how long ago we wrapped up Halo, my hate watch of Halo. they will flag it and then just not do anything.
Yep.
And then it just expires and goes away, and YouTube removes the copyright claim because you're not doing anything wrong. We're talking over it, we're pausing it, whatever. But it just ties up all the monetization. It it kind of like creates an incentive for you to not do it. Don't hate on our stuff, don't play our stuff, whatever. So yeah,
you don't even want to mess with. I don't even like messing with it at all because you never know with YouTube how they could flag you or whatever. So I think my Halloween trailer review I did, they flagged me for that, and I was
Halloween Kills or one of those. Yeah. I had the same problem with those. They never ever responded to those. They just leave them flagged. So I actually did that same problem. I did a review and I could have done stuff and I got like 14 views or something. It's some insanely low number for a review. The reviews usually do pretty well for me, but that one was like copyright flagged. I took it down, put it back. Yeah,
and if it's flagged, they will not push it at all. So it's not
just
even
buried.
Worth it.
Yeah. Oh, what is this? People still hold on the hope that remind me of Homer Simpson chasing the ham that Lisa threw out the window. It's a little dirty, but still good when I say it's ruined. Yes, Dean Krantz. That's kind of how I feel with an army sometimes. So there is a ton of love. Oh, Hail to Pacific, by the way, who has the 1-year anniversary stream after this. So I'll be over there, at least pop by for a minute. And Gap says, yeah, that droid was talking about droid rights. God. It was so weird. It's not as cringy as it comes across now because things have just changed so much. But when it first happened, it was more like, what is happening? Rather than now where you're like, oh, you know what I mean? It's like that's the difference for me if I had to explain it. So the Vader film is pretty good. The Vader fan film. Even his teaser trailer for the second part is good. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, well, Rosie, we're going to come around to Andor in a minute. I promise. So
God.
Obi-Wan was triggered by the choking. He had to run away.
Well, and that's another thing about.
Hey.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing about that show that I have a big issue with is it's all over the place in form of like who the audience is, right? Because it's very goofy and childlike. But then you have Vader snapping necks, and it seems very adult. But then we go back to goofy, stupid nonsense. Like it just the feel of the show is at least Rogue One had that more of adult feel, more of a grittier, darker feel to it versus, like Book of Boba Fett, where you have like yellow and green Vespas flying around, right? Like it's very weird just how the feeling of this show is all over the place. I mean, it's not true. It's not shocking, but it's crazy that they couldn't at least land that portion.
Because they do like the neck snapping and some pretty dark stuff at times. And even the Vader scenes, in theory, are actually kind of dark, even with the fire scene. It's like this was at least edgy. And it's like you contrast that with the goofiness of the chase scene with Needles
Leia.
and Leia in the coat. And actually most scenes with Leia. Like it's just super goofy. Like the conversations and things that happen, it's just all very weird. So when you get to
didn't he snap one of the kids? Like it was one of the kids he killed, right? In the alleyway?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure it was a kid's neck. That's pretty dark.
It's definitely a woman for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely a woman that bit it as well. So Chris Persia put the link there for you guys to subscribe to Matt because he can break down.
Thank you.
And you can get through all of the Kenobi stuff in more detail without having to watch it. I hold no secrets. Matt will not take offense because he still gets his views. I watch everything at 1.5 speed. He doesn't talk too fast for that to get messed up. So you'll be okay if you had to, get through Kenobi in less than 5 hours. Just get a little condensed version. I'm telling you, it works. So listen, Soul Assassin, I watched it, so you didn't have to. You can go back and watch our videos. And if you want to hear Stone Loki try not to drop F-bombs, have him go through Halo with me because that is the best, by the way. Okay, so Vader, he wins and Obi-Wan gets taken away, and then they kidnap Leia again, and then we fast forward again. That's when they sneak aboard the water pyramid Inquisitorium. Vader just shows up at the end of that episode. Like there's no premise to him arriving. There was no setup, as far as I know, of they all get away. Snow speeders, the garbage trucks just take them away. And then Reva's accountable for letting him get away. So he walks in, elevates her, choke force, and then she just goes, tracker. Yeah. And he's like, oh, okay, the tracker. Okay, good. Okay. It just lets her down. We're good. It's like, okay. what's happening? Like, only Boba Fett has talked back to Vader and lived to tell about it until Reva, because she survives 2 lightsaber strikes and a choke out. It's
Well, because
insane.
she's Reva, and she's
Super
the bestest ever.
Reva. She is something. So Vader lets him go, and then see, is that the? I get the episodes mixed up because they've all run together to me as one big blob of mess. So they follow them, they get them pinned down, and Vader's going to arrive, and that's when they whisper through the door, and then Vader confronts Reva, and the Grand Inquisitor's there. There's a little, so that fight scene was okay. It's just kind of strange how all this stuff is shaping up. Like, it's just, this is where it's revealed that Reva has a different sort of plan and a scheme. And oh wait, I missed an episode. Sorry. Wait a minute. They're following the rebels first. No, that's episode 6.
That's after. Yep.
Yeah. So the Reva fight scene first. He leaves Reva because she's not really dead yet. He's going to go off.
That's where the Grand Inquisitor showed up to realize he wasn't dead yet either.
Yeah, not quite dead yet. And then we get to episode 6, where Vader in all of his glory is showing how the Empire could really never hold power in the galaxy because they have no use of what they're doing. So it's like cargo ship, Star Destroyer, and they're just following. And it's like there's no TIE fighters. There's no effort to shoot at them, really. It's like nothing really happens. And then you see Obi-Wan have a bickering about leaving. So he takes a little shuttle off to the Mustafar adjacent planet. And Vader just goes, all right, we're all going that way. There's no split forces. There's no, I'll take a shuttle. No, they just go. Star Destroyer goes, and they just get away. And then when they arrive to Mustafar, doesn't he say, like, I'm going to go alone?
Yeah. Because he takes a shuttle down there by himself. And even the Grand Inquisitor was like, you think this is a good idea to just kind of let all them go?
That's true. I remember that now.
And he's like, no, we're going after him. And
yeah, we're fine. Okay. We got it. We got this. I got this. I got this. Yeah.
And again, if that was the case, if he was taking a ship down to the planet by himself anyway, why not just peel off and then let the Star Destroyer go after the rest of them? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
And then Vader shows up, and isn't that where he has that crazy line like, you've shown up to something or some sort of,
like have you shown up to kill me or whatever? Yeah. It's like
the
or
verb,
have you come? Yeah, like Obi-Wan was the one that showed up to kill him, but yet Vader was the one chasing him.
Yeah, they got the lines reversed on the characters or something. Like someone changed the script and didn't realize it or something, or I don't know. Then that fight scene results in Obi-Wan just being covered in a whole lot of rubble.
He got
fight scene, lightsaber, whole lot of rubble, like just mass amounts of rubble. He's in there alive somehow. I don't know. He's alive. He levels up like a video game character because he thinks about the kids, particularly Leia, right?
Yeah, another great Disney moment that his Popeye spinach was him thinking about Princess Leia, which gave him the power to
level up,
rise up out of
he shoots out like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. He just shoots out and just starts kicking Vader's butt, and you're like, so all along you could have thought about the little girl that you were carrying around, and that kind of motivated you to like be force powerful again. Like what? Like, and I think we're being overzealous in some ways, but no, I think we're pretty much summarizing the show.
Well, and again, for Vader to be so obsessed with Obi-Wan, to wanting to kill him so bad, like we saw him, whatever was episode 2 or 3, where he was, dragging him through the fire and you can see he wants to like cause pain. So what you do is you cover Obi-Wan in rocks and you just walk away. You don't want to see him dead. You don't want to like nothing. You just assume out. Well, I covered him in rocks, and
that's what Obi-Wan did, right? Went to Obi-Wan, one struck him in the helmet. He could barely breathe and whatever. Now Obi-Wan killed him, right? That's what happened.
No,
no, that's not at all what happened, is it? Oh, he walked away too.
Yeah, I never understood, because they couldn't think of a good way. I mean, at least that would have been a great point. Have the Inquisitors show up then.
Mm-hmm.
Have them, because what did Obi-Wan really do as far as fighting in this entire show? Killed a couple stormtroopers. That's it.
With
If that.
sparks.
With spark, yeah, the
Yeah,
sparks.
they
Don't forget the
spark.
sparks.
They
They're all
spark when you hit them a couple times. Yeah, he flooded the hallway in the one episode, so they drowned.
So you see just the
Actually,
one
they drowned.
body.
Actually, they drowned instantly, and they
Yeah.
floated. Like there was no drowning, there was no flailing. No, they're in their suits, but they drowned instantly and floated in the background. I mean, it's like a Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon or something. Like I feel like I'm just in like, yeah.
Well, and the contrast to that is in the Book of Boba Fett when he got out of the sand pit because he used the stormtroopers' oxygen in his mask. So why would he drown? Isn't there oxygen in those suits?
Well, the oxygen is only when you're in sand. I mean, clearly,
okay,
that's going to be canon going forward. I mean, we obviously know that
only sand is.
We film in sand like 90% of the time anyway. So let's just be honest. We need the air for that. So, all right, okay. So, all right, Rosie. So yeah, we know. And we were talking about copy. There's a difference between a copyright claim and a copyright strike, by the way, because you can mute a copyright claim. It's just like you use too much, you use music, you do whatever, and things like that. A strike's more like hard to get out of. Like that's like you use like a big chunk of something. That's if you're doing that, you're probably asking for trouble.
Yeah,
perfectly honest. So let's see. Rosie says the audience that they're catering to is themselves. We couldn't agree more. It's Jasons and scissoring hens writing for other Jasons and scissoring hens. So, Yeti Cast, Book of Boba Fett video added the Power Rangers theme to the Vespas. Yeah, go Power Vespas. Yes. It does say they have said, or at least sounds like they are claiming there is going to be a second season. But as you've all learned, as much as yesterday with the deletion of the Batgirl project, that anything is possible of coming and going. We have no idea. That's great. Listen, Joker's going to do She-Hulk. I am too, especially now that they're baiting me, Matt, because they're basically calling it must she
TV.
How could I not watch it now? How could I not watch it now? I have to now. Now
I'm gonna trash and dog that show so bad. It's gonna be hilarious.
I don't even really know what I'm doing with Photoshop, and I do a better job than some of the graphics that have come out of that freaking trailer footage and stuff. It is so insane. Like one shot, her arm is huge, her leg is huge, next it's skinny again. She looks like the Toad meets a Wicked character, the Wicked.
Yeah.
So she looks like a cross between that, and they're related to the Shrek family. That's basically what She-Hulk looks like.
So bad.
Yes. Door whispering. Oh, door whispering is really big in the Star Wars universe. I don't know why you guys are mocking the fact that they can literally have a nice conversation through freaking 2-foot blast door. Like, what on earth? Like the troopers are there and they're like firing. I think it's like the stand-up cannon. That's not the ion cannon. I don't know what that one is, but it's like the snow troopers use it in Empire.
Yeah.
And they're just firing on this thing. It's not even doing a thing. And they were having a whisper conversation through the door. And then when that conversation ends, I kid you not, how does Reva open the door? She just goes, click, click. Just opens that freaking door. I don't have to make it up. I just got to get permission to like show you how insane it is. So it's easier to watch like I just do with Halo. Because I just cheat with them. So why are they following Rebels? They know Leia is from Tatooine. They haven't put a garrison there, arrested Leia's parents. No, they ignore the entire concept of Alderaan. Like, I don't even know why anyone's following anybody. You know where she's going to end up. Just go kidnap the mom.
And again, the logic of all this makes no sense because even and I know I'm jumping back, episode 2 where they're on that stupid freighter with the guy who looks like he swallowed a grenade and blew up in his face. What's his name? The guy who turns him over to the like they're at the laser gate where the stormtrooper falls and gets cut in half.
Oh, right. The big plumpy alien looking thing.
Yeah.
That sounds like one of the characters from Cheers. Gotcha.
Yeah. So you think like, they send out their Obi-Wan's information to everybody across the galaxy, what he looks like, but the stormtroopers have no idea. And in order to identify them, they need this droid or the probe droid to come over. But everything of Star Wars you've seen where they have the little handheld things that just pop up and have the information there, but they're not that privy to that information. Like it makes
when you work at the Grand Canyon, the tech takes a while to get there.
There's no Wi-Fi. So you need to have, And
that was literally like what was how did I describe that one? Because I think the Looney Tunes one. Anyway, that was a you got the name wrong kind of gag too. Like, did you just say Leia or did you
Yeah.
not say? Like, it was just like a chilly.
What? Oh, no. I didn't mean that.
Oh, we're looking for this guy in this robe with a little girl. Have you seen one?
Oh, my mistake. Carry
Oh,
on.
sorry. Her name is not Leia. It's a different person.
Sorry,
Chris
I know I
Purchase.
jumped out of it, but
No, you're fine. Those things that with lightsabers being impaled through the abdomen is the only lethal straight males, like Obi-Wan, like Qui-Gon. Yeah, I know. I know.
they embarrassed Qui-Gon in this show too. So
Okay, I don't know which piece sounds creepy about me, but I got to be honest. There's about 6 or we could do a top 10 things of that were creepy in this show. To be completely honest, that's how strange this show was. So, the imagery is a little unsettling. Obi-Wan has to think of Leia. That's what it was to
Yep.
get a rise in his force powers. Great going there, Disney. Yeah, he just carried. He snuck her out in his trench coat. And 2 episodes later, when he has to power up in the force, he thinks about the little girl. In one frame of the little boy, only
Yeah.
one frame. Yeah. So he's like, it's like 90% Leia, 10% Luke. That's all. The destruction of Alderaan is Kenobi's hand. Nice way to treat your friend Bail there. Yeah, actually, all of the galaxy's deaths are on Obi-Wan's hands now.
basically.
All the millions and millions of people that Vader is going to go around and murder people with. So, Matt, have you heard a shill or a positive or a praise where you're like, I can give you that one? What do you got? I think it's like, yeah, that's all right, I guess. I will say that I would say the acting wasn't bad. I didn't have any major problems. Like Reva's, I don't blame Reva and Leia because that's how they were written bad. But like Ewan McGregor was fine.
Yeah.
Just not much to work with. I think it's same with Marvel. Like most of the shows, it's usually not the acting. It's usually not the casting. I can say that at least I can understand why people don't like the Reva casting and the Leia casting. But to be honest, it really wouldn't have mattered too much. But I think overall the acting's like it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, it didn't pull me out of it that bad. I mean, some of it was cringe, but that wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't again overwhelming. So I'll give them that. Like the acting wasn't the worst. It could have been way worse. Let's put it that way. It could have been extremely worse than what it was. So but yeah, I'd have to think about exactly what good points there are of the show that I saw some people say it was positive. I mean, yeah, it's like
He's still thinking Soul Assassin.
really
He got nothing yet, really.
You
Yeah.
really got to think about it, which is the sad part.
Jedi Master Chris Hansen's gonna show up.
Why don't you have a seat there, Ben?
Hey, Ben, why don't you just sit down for a minute there?
So what were your intentions here?
Picture of Obi-Wan. Oh,
Why do they throw rocks at each other? I don't understand that anymore. Like how he pelted Vader with rocks. I don't.
Yeah, the fight scene become more about like force pushing things at one another than it did about actually fighting. Like and actually I thought that was all going to happen so they would create again another chasm or something they can't cross or something. There'd be some sort of destruction of the planet or something, or I don't know. The other thing too is it would really would not be that hard for us to come up with ways to fix the script. So like we would just say, Vader would just say, I'm going to take my shuttle. I'm going to go down and deal with him. You stay on the rebels. You know what I mean? I'll be in communication with you. He goes down to the planet and they're like, no, sir, you can't go down alone. The planet is unstable. It's Mustafar adjacent. So therefore it's a lava planet. It's SETI Alpha 5 and it's going to go nuclear at any moment. We're going to see, something that would be like going down there's not a good idea. He goes down there. They get divided. He gets his butt kicked. And like you said, the Grand Inquisitors could show up and fight with Obi-Wan. And he beats them too, but they can at least separate. Like it could be something.
Yeah.
There are little things that are very, very easy to fix. It's just, I don't know. So.
Well, and even the fighting, if you notice, like all the shaky cam and the really close-up angles, it's like I feel like that they were just trying to hide and cover mistakes because if they panned out further and they didn't shake the camera so much, if you paid attention to the actual fighting, it probably was going to look absolutely terrible.
Well, it keeps getting worse because now we know about the volume and we can actually see the set and the set design to see. Because obviously we didn't even have any jokes about not being able to cross the laser fence.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
they just walk around.
He taps on it. They could have just walked around. Could have hopped over it. Could have used some force. It's like there's an aerial shot and you can just see it just goes across the road. Like
and again, others have said this too. I thought he was destroying that so he can get in the vehicle and take off, but he just walks away with it, and then he quit. And that was the best part. He's like, "All right, I give up.
Yeah,
I give up."
I think Soul Assassin, you're absolutely right that it is on Mustafar. That's why we refer to that planet as Mustafar adjacent, because it's sort of a knockoff planet. It's not interesting in lava and full of all the bright colors or anything like that. So, see, I have fixed the rematch of the century in my own headcanon. I'm cheaper than the writers of this garbage. They work pretty cheap. Not quite sure you'd be, Yeah, we forgot about the laser fence for a minute there. Yeah, it was just,
that was cool. I'll give him that. I actually liked that scene where he got cut in half. That was pretty neat.
When they dropped the trooper. Yeah. That was actually good.
Really unexpected. I was like, wow, that was cool. Give me more of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We also didn't talk about, I don't remember the guy's name. He's the guy from Eternals that pretends to be a Force user.
Oh, my. Yeah.
I was so cringed out in episode 2 when he first arrives and he's doing like the eyebrow thing with his big eyebrows. And it's like.
The Jedi fraud. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Reva catches him allegedly to figure out where the transport is and where it's going. And then suddenly he shows up at the end of the show like, "Oh, I'm here to help you out, man. I'm good. I'm on your team now." And you're like, I don't understand how you even got here.
Didn't she read his mind to find out the information anyway?
I don't know.
I think she just read his mind and stole the information, but then she didn't do that with Leia. She doesn't do that with anybody else. Like, there's just the amount of inconsistencies in this show.
But Leia, she can handle that kind of stuff. Like, didn't you see New Hope? Like, Leia's so powerful in the Force. He couldn't read her mind.
She's the bestest ever.
And actually, that could have been a tie to the original film. If you had said, "Let's," like the mind thing's not working on her for some reason. Like something's wrong here. Like, I don't know. It just to me it makes so much sense that you could have fixed some of this stuff. But this is what I think. Joker voice is getting. We hear in comic books like they get paid like $50 a page or something, something ridiculous. Like no, it's not even like $10 a panel or something. It's so insanely low. I feel like it's the same thing with these scripts. They get paid like, $1,000 or something. They get paid like so little money they can't even pay their mortgage, and it's like you don't get rewrites, you don't get. Yeah.
They just want their name on it to say that they were attached to a Star Wars, and then they go off to do their next thing. I think it's just a resume builder, and not a good one. But
yeah. I have to be honest. It was a little shocking to hear so much praise of the show, and I think it's because I think like you, I thought. Well, no, you said you expected it to be total trash. I thought they'd be a little more reserved because I thought they were trying to save the prequels more. I didn't realize they were trying to ruin the prequels too. Like I was a little on the naive side where I went into that episode 1 and 2 thinking it's going to be bad. I get the bait and switch part, but I really just thought Kenobi would still be pretty cool. And to find out that and they kept making old jokes, by the way, which I really resent, Matt, because I look way older than the dude in the show. And I'm still not old enough to be like Alec Guinness in a couple years. Like something's seriously wrong with this freaking show. They don't do anything right.
Well, and again, I thought that they understood how important this show was going to be for fans. Like it needed to be a good show. And they really showed just the amount of, I think, disrespect that look at right now, just based off of what we know, the quality of what you're getting out of Andor and just by visuals and what we saw with Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
that's night and day. They're putting money into Andor of a guy that nobody cares about. That's already, we know his demise, right? Mm-hmm. But Obi-Wan, I think they purposely are crapping on these legacy characters. I think it's by design. I think they want you to not like them anymore. I can't think of anything else of why they would do it.
Joker voice. I don't think either of us brought this up. That is so true. Yep. That Reva can read information, but didn't even bother with Owen. Yeah. That is so true. And she has multiple opportunities to read their minds and realize they're Anakin's kids or where they are or any, yeah, definitely a good point. We talked about Andor just in passing, and someone else brought it up earlier that they made all these political drops in this show, like teasing it all, and you just feel like I did have a source that basically said they really did think that we'd still be under Orange Man. But how does someone not walk in the room and go, maybe we shouldn't write our entire show around something, or maybe we should make some changes? But I'm with you. Like, the show looks on the surface like you filmed on location. It looks kind of cool. It's interesting. I think there's a couple cast members that look interesting.
Besides the AK-47 in the trailer, but
yeah, well, yeah, right. But I mean, but now I just feel like, what do you mean it's a big political thing about modern? Oh, come on, really? Like, I don't know. My level.
And how many shows have we already seen that have literally taken these same footsteps, that have said the same things? That this is about current day, and they all crap the bed.
Yeah,
all of them. All of them. Yeah, and it's like they all step on landmines. You're automatically, even if, like I said, I don't care about people's political affiliations, whatever they want, but they're the people who do like the previous president or whatever, you're automatically telling them, like, you're the problem. And you've already told them, like, don't watch my show. Why would you do that?
Well, I got to be honest. This is a rule of thumb in writing. If any of you want to kind of get a little 101 crash, you learn this from shows like All in the Family. As great as All in the Family is it's very dated because they wrote about stuff that happened right then. So it doesn't translate. Like, it's old news. Like, it just, when you get that far into something, that far into a social issue or something that's happening in real time, or you're making references, like, how many times have you watched, let's say, a 50s or 60s movie, and they make a reference to something, and you're kind of like, I don't know any idea what I want to talk about.
No idea what this is talking. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a writer, they're trying to tell you, you want to tame some of that stuff to more like universal things rather than some, obviously you can make a Lucille Ball reference. Everyone's going to remember who Lucille, but you start referring to, like, something that's really small potatoes at the time. People are going to be like, I have no idea what they're talking about. And I think this is another element that's making these things worse, is they're just so immersed in it. They're not holding up. They're not going to hold up.
And the cherry on top is that they are saying this out loud in interviews. Like, now, if that was the case, if they're like, all right, well, we filmed this, we thought this was going to be the outcome, let's just not mention the specifics and let it play out and people take it for what they want. No, they specifically are making a point to say, I'm going to say it's a Trumpian world. Like, they are making a point to bring that up, and it's like their own demise, because they could have just said, let's just not bring that up and we'll see how it plays out, and people can take it for whatever allegory they want it to. But no, they have to.
I'm gonna make a prediction in a second. Joker Voice said they needed this to be a home run for those KK and her minions, and they said F off. KK wanting to destroy Star Wars and recreate it in her image. Yes. Rosie's back. Got to give it to Disney. They can lure people in by a trailer, then kill it within a week with a political statement. Yes. Hard time fighting the FDR. Yeah. All right. Joker's going to bail. So here's my thing on this. With the comments, the political comments, how shocked would you be if they don't get the fact that they've got it reversed?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm like literally like more like I was kind of 50-50 before the statement. Like, I was 50-50. Like, what are the odds that they do the Empire as good guys and the rebels are the bad guy? Like, literally, like, I say this all the time. Like, in the comic books, one of the turnoffs, I couldn't believe how bad. I don't know if you read comic books at all, but for me, I've gone back and it's like, you see the videos, which you're like, it can't be that bad. Yeah. Like, the heroes are villains. Like, Riri Williams is a villain. I'm really sorry. I don't see her saving lives, and not because she'll hear about a law and just go, F that law. I'm doing whatever I think is right. It's like literally like in a panel, she's just like, no, I'm not listening to those people. Does she understand who I am? Or it's like, I'm now more like 80-20 thinking that they won't realize that the Empire are the bad guys here. They're going to see this all backwards or something. I don't know. I'm actually just, they're so incompetent. I feel like, what are they doing?
Well, I think too, what they're also not even realizing that when they just everything they described, especially in that article and all this stuff, like for me at least, it looks like the Empire is more like Disney as a whole, if you break it down that way. But the way they
Yeah.
explain it, I mean, it's just the mega corporation and all this, and I don't know. But yeah, they don't know what's going on. They have no idea. They live, like you said, the South Park reference. They live in their own cloud, smelling themselves and thinking they're better than us and saving the world. Because there was one thing in the article they were talking about where it's like, this is, this is against the war and all that. It's like, me and you, Pops, we don't send troops. We didn't send my friends over there we didn't do that. We just watch Star Wars and read comic books, and it's your friends that you get tax benefits from. Those are the ones you
But what war? There was no war during the administration that they're talking about.
Yeah.
There was less wars. There was peace agreements.
Yep.
Since then, there's been conflicts. Like, so what I'm saying, it's like I don't think that they're capable of even processing things like appropriately. Like, they get things so it's like the immigration stuff. They have it completely like, but there was no problem in the era you think there was. The numbers, it's like we all can read. It's okay that you don't care, but just stop pretending that we're supposed to treat you like an expert.
Well, and you know how these people, it's just they consume CNN and whatever they say. Yeah. That's it. They don't, there's no factual digging in any of this.
Well, folks, we went on and on and on and on, and we probably could keep going because it's almost like a therapy process. It's almost like a therapeutic way of like, you find someone that kind of, okay, I'm not the only one. I'm not crazy. That's all right. We can talk this through. We can look for some silver line. Okay, there's no silver linings really, but we can look forward to we can't really look forward to that either. Okay, well, all right. Well, here we are.
Yeah. It's at least I know I'm not crazy because there's other people out there that think the same way. Like it's not just me.
Yes. Listen, I know Chris put the link out in the chat, but it's in the description. Make sure you connect with Matt. He's got a great little playlist where he's done his breakdowns. My stuff's just in a general Star Wars playlist, and it's kind of haphazard, so bear with it. But yeah, this is a little bit of us trying to bring up some of the positives that are still floating and us still not getting it, like us still not just not seeing what they see. And maybe that's just how it is. But if you're out there and you didn't like it and you were told it was great and it was good and you find this video, know you are not alone. Whether it's someone as young and handsome as Matt here or an OG beaten up dog that was from the originals, we're with you, bro. We understand. We feel your pain, sis. We got you. I know. And if you love it, tweet your own. Yeah. You could put it in the chat. Tell us how wrong we are. Oh, we saw it all wrong. It's okay. Yeah. Yes, Soul Assassin, an emotional support system. That is in large part what we're here for. Matt, what is your streaming, posting videos schedule so people can kind of have an idea of when they could check in?
Well, first, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun, and I appreciate that. And anyone who's subscribed and checks out the channel, I do appreciate that as well. I'd like to stream as much as I can on every Thursday. I try to shoot around 9 p.m. Eastern, sometimes a little bit earlier. I don't just cover news and other stuff going on, but I love to do movie reviews, TV show reviews. Even I've been starting to do older stuff. I'm trying to do older movie. Matt. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, older stuff is in like, before the dark times,
Okay.
Yeah, that's
a lot of gray hair here when people start using the O word. That's all I try.
So no, like I like to do good movie reviews, and I'm about to do a Batman and Robin review where I get to just.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I sat through that again.
Bat nipples, baby, bat nipples.
So
I'm a Batman diehard fan. If you've watched my videos, you know I am. I've said it before. Like 50% of my collection was Batman, and the other 50% was everything else. So, and I don't hate Batman Forever as much as everyone else does. I said the villains are actually the bigger problem for me because that is not Two-Face.
Yes.
But it's fun and I can have a decent time. But once you got to Batman and Robin, I think when I saw it in the theater, I think I just sat there like, that was probably my Last Jedi for me. That was probably like, I don't understand what's happening. Like I felt punked. Maybe that's a good way to explain it. I felt like I was just like, what is happening? Like, yeah.
I think we'll have to stream that. You should watch it soon. We can do a stream if you want to come on my channel.
My God.
We can rip that movie apart. I will spend an hour talking about that. But yeah, so I try to do everything. But yeah, I try to stream on Thursdays, and then I try to put out at least 2 or 3 videos a week and spread them out because
awesome.
Working and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. It's good stuff though. Good stuff. Connect with Matt. Connect with A Common Idiot on Twitter. Stay in tune with what's going on. And yes, Soul Assassin, the ice puns. Yeah.
Oh God.
And Jacob Ironside, thanks for hanging with us for so long. And for those of you that didn't watch Kenobi, hopefully we've given you enough reasons not to, but you have a general idea of what's going on. And if you find someone that loves it, you could say, listen, I know these 2 guys, they disagree with you. Go watch their video and talk to them about it. So I'm going to close out with Matt and chat with him here in a minute. But for you guys, you got to learn to you got to chill a little bit. Make tomorrow better. Be blessed out there. And if you just need a moment to laugh
all I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama.